First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here today. This is going to be a little bit different. It's kind of a new thing I'm trying out where, it's a lot less formal than some of our other trainings or our podcasts. So admittedly, it's going to be a little unpolished, but what's going on is I found something that I learned that I want to share with you, and so potentially wanted to start kind of with a smaller group of folks to share that and hopefully grow this into something based on your feedback. So we do want to make this interactive. I've dropped a message in the chat. If you want to communicate with me via the chat, that's the best way to do that. I will invite folks if you want sort of towards the end to maybe come on camera or share your screen if you need help troubleshooting. But sort of wait for the end when we have some designated time so we get through every piece of this. So, a quick overview of today's session. I recently migrated my personal website and the Center for Campaign Innovation website away from a CMS Webflow uh, and use something built completely with AI and hosted on Cloudflare. And it got me thinking, could we find a way to build a website for, ideally local down ballot campaigns that was almost free? That was sort of the constraint that I gave myself, and hence Stump website builder was born. So it's a little bit of a misnomer to call it a website builder because you really are the website builder. You're using AI. You can technically do all of this for free, minus the cost of your domain. So you can even get away with doing this on a free Claude or ChatGPT subscription, but you run into your um, account limits really quickly. And so it'll take you a few hours if you do that. So for the purposes of our time today, I'm going to be using a paid account. I built this with Claude. I personally use Claude for my most of my professional work. That's mostly a personal preference. This will work with any AI tool that you already have. It's pretty straightforward. I think there are some things that work a little bit better in Claude, but again, if you prefer using Grok or Gemini or ChatGPT, you can do that too. And so, again, it's really kind of a matter of personal preference. So today, because this is a workshop, I'd like for you to follow along with me. So I'm going to drop the link in here, so you can follow along and get all of the files that I'm doing. Please don't hesitate to jump in with a question in the chat or something, and we'll get underway. So, a couple of things that you are going to need. The first is a free Formspree.com account. I recommend doing this before we get started on the building. And this for most of our use cases, um, the free plane is going to be enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new form, and we could call this workshop example sign up form. So this is all listed in the detailed instructions. Um, but we're just going to make sure that when someone signs up, we want to send the emails, in this case to Eric at Eric Wilson for Congress. We create form. So we're going to set that aside a little kind of like Julia Child, where we pre-make some things. Um, but the goal here is that you can follow the step-by-step guide every step of the way. And if you get stuck, you can also talk to the chat, the AI. So we want to click through to the guide, and a couple of things that we want to have already ready. A photo of yourself. We'll use that in just a minute. A few sentences about your bio and 3 to 5 issues. One of the things that's really important about including issues on your website is that this is one of the number one things that voters and donors are looking for when they visit a candidate's website. So, as I mentioned, you need to have a couple of free accounts so you can do the chatbot. Again, Claude is what I'm using today. You can do this with ChatGPT. You can do this with Gemini. You'll need a Cloudflare account. So Cloudflare is where I recommend you register your domains. They're very cheap, and they give you a lot of really good tools. And then Formspree, which I just showed you. Then we're going to need to download the files. So this is in a just a classic zip folder. Um, and so uh, we're going to have those files, and then we head off to build our website. So we're going to go ahead, and I downloaded the Stump site builder. I'm going to bring this to this whoops um, this desktop, which hopefully everyone can see. All right, and so you can see that it extracted and it gave us the the files here. And so the two files that we're going to work with are the template, which is sort of just the dummy HTML that I created to kind of guide your website. And then we want to open this prompt. So it might be a little bit difficult to read, but it gives you some instructions how to use this. Start a new empty chat with your AI chatbot, attach the file template.html, and then copy everything below the copy from here down line and paste it. So we see copy from here down. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy us. And really, this is a very kind of a long prompt for the AI that we are going to use um, to um, guide us through building our website together. So I hope you all are able to follow along. If you need a little bit more time, you can let me know in the chat. Or if you're not necessarily able to follow along, maybe you can. I see several of you are keeping notes on this, so that would be a good way to do. But everything is specified here on the guide here, which I'll send around. So we want to go to our new chat. And so I'm going to begin by copying. I just pasted the text that I created, and then I'm going to copy over my template. So those are the two things that I'm going to need. And all I have to do is hit send message, and it's going to read the template. The template also includes some instructions for the AI. Um, and also so we don't want to take those out. Basically, trying to make it as easy as possible for you to make a good website. So in this example, I'm going to be Eric Wilson for Congress. So um, first, what's your name as you want it to appear on the site? So I would say Eric Wilson. I'm running for Congress in Virginia's 8th district. And I happen to know that the primary is August 4th, 2026, and general election is November 3rd, 2026. Okay. Again, if you don't know that, your chat can help you answer that, or hopefully you know those answers. So I'm going to return that. Thanks, Alan. I don't know that I need that extra stress in my life. Okay, got it. Eric Wilson for Congress in Virginia's 8th district. Next, tell me a few sentences about yourself, your title of the district, why you're running. It says don't worry about polish, but one of the things that I did is I pre-wrote my bio. So I'm just going to drop that in there. We'll see that in just a minute. Okay, now what are my top 3 to 5 issues? Again, having issues on your website is really important, not only for um, for helping inform voters, but increasingly we have a human audience the voters and a machine audience, the AI or Google search. And we want to make sure that we're giving it accurate information. So again, I pre-wrote some of um, my issues earlier, and so I'm just going to drop those in, and it's going to get to work, and um, it's going to actually try and coach me. Um, and I might just say, no, leave it as is for now. So, but you can also use this to help get better or write it. It's looking out for those kinds of things. All right, next, what email address should supporter signups go to? What social links do you use? Um, uh, So I want everything to go to Eric at Eric Wilson for Congress.com. This is a domain that I've owned for a long time, just as an example. And I think probably 2 years ago, or maybe it's been 4 years ago, there was an actual person named Eric Wilson who was running for Congress in Ohio who really wanted me to sell him this domain. And I unfortunately told him no. Um, uh, and uh, and kept it for myself. I'm glad I did. And so for social links, I just want to do my X account. You'll probably want to put your um, Facebook on there. And I'm just going to give it a generic um, when read link here. We'll give it to the NRCC and we'll give it that. So again, there's no time limit on this. If you need to step away and do something else or go find your WinRed link, I'm just trying to compress this for our time together. And so this is the fun one. What colors do you want? A ready-made look. So I kind of advise people, unless you have a really strong opinion, the red, white, and blue works best. Um, so I will say, let's do red, white, and blue, um, paid for by Eric Wilson for Congress. Again, this is something that you need to double check. Don't rely on the AI to get this right. So you don't want to get yourself in trouble by getting this incorrect. While that's working, I see couple questions. Alan mentioned that we've previously sent out resources on best bio link, so I use that to create a ranking system and auto bio builder from BrainDump. Yeah, so we've actually done some research that has shown that there's kind of a sweet spot for length and readability on campaign bios on campaign websites. Again, it's always a question of does correlation equal causation, but certainly some of this is intuitive. So glad to see that that's been helpful for you, Alan. Drew asked, should we advise the AI in typography? You could certainly do that if you want. So this template is built for people who don't even know what typography means. And so it's going to come with a set standard, primarily for readability. So it can be accessible and read by anyone. Whereas, if you start messing around with it, it might not be readable. It might cause some problems. But if you're comfortable experimenting with that, you can certainly do that. All right. So one thing that you'll notice that uh, that it is asking me for. So it gives us a quick preview of our website, which looks pretty good. Um, And so it says save the file as index.html. So we'll do that in just a minute. Add your photo, make a folder named images. We'll walk through all of that and turn on signups. Paste me your Formspree form ID. And so that's what we previously made over here. So we're just going to copy that and drop that in, and it's going to update um, our um, our our file, our index.html. And so now I want to download this. All right. And so we're going to have to go back to our desktop. We're going to need to organize a couple of things. So let's go over here. So I'm going to create a new folder that is um, and we're just going to call it website. Um, Workshop website. All right. I want to confirm that yeah, everyone could see that. But so Drew, we're going to come back in a little bit and we're going to make some edits. So that's one of the edits that we could make. But I want to show you just how quickly we can get this up. So the couple of things that we want to do, we downloaded this index.html. So we're going to drop that. I want to make sure that it's actually named index.html. It's really important that we get that right because it's looking for that. And then we want to create a folder called images, right? And in that folder, I have my photo.jpg. So this is my headshot. One of the things I want to point out here is that I worked to make sure that it wasn't too big. I've previously shared there's some different ways that you can compress this or crop it. It doesn't need to be a high res photo. The bigger the folder or the bigger that file is, the slower your website's going to run. And so we don't want to slow things down. Okay, so this is the everything that I need. Now, this is the other tool that I'm really excited to share with folks, and I want more people to know about, which is Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is it started out as a content delivery network, a CDN. So the idea would be that it made your page load fast everywhere because they have servers all over the world. They've since added things like domain registration. They've added these new things called pages. And so when Cloudflare, totally free. This again, I don't really understand the business model here. But what we're going to do is we're going to do, you can either do the search or come to this side and it's under compute and we're looking for workers and pages. Again, this is all spelled out on Cloudflare. So log into the Cloudflare or on our website, campaigninnovation.org, which is built on Cloudflare for free. So we're going to go to workers and pages, and we click create an application. Now we're really not creating an application here. All we're doing is we're going to upload your static files. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the folder that I created previously, which has our index. We see all the files, images, photo.jpg, right? So we can call it, it gives you kind of a crazy name. So we'll call it workshop website. And then we click deploy. All right, so what's happening now is it's taking our files and it's putting it out on this live website. It's a really cool tool. So basically, their business model is if you get a ton of visits, like thousands and thousands of visits, they're going to start charging you for this. Most of us aren't going to have that problem on our campaign, which is why it's again a good tool to use for free. So we're going to give that a minute and see if it's live for us. All right. And as promised, we have a working campaign website. In just we've been doing this for about 15 minutes. And it looks pretty good. Jumps down to my about, our issues pages. I can sign up here, and then I can check my registration at vote.gov. I can donate. It's going to send me to, in this case, NRCC's website. I can send an email. I can click on my X account, right? So that is a basic one-page website in about 15 minutes, mostly for free. But we don't want to just send people to this crazy website, workshop.website.eric-683.workers.dev. So we want to connect it to our domain. And so because we're using Cloudflare, where we can register domains or manage domains, if you've registered it somewhere else like GoDaddy, you can actually control the settings here in Cloudflare, and their tools are really good. So what I want to do is add a domain, and I do own Eric Wilson for Congress. And oh, there we go. And then I'm going to leave empty because I want it to be the root, the ericwilsonforcongress.com. And so what's going to happen? Um, all right, and it's going to take a minute to get up and running. All right. And there we go. I have a campaign website at ericwilsonforcongress.com. I didn't have to touch a single line of HTML. And I just let the chatbot interview me and add some questions. Now, it's not gonna, I don't think it'll win any awards, but it gives candidates of any size, any budget, a quick, polished website. So, what if we want to make some changes, right? So, uh, let's talk about some edits that we might make. Well, we're going to go back to our um, our chat over here. And so, Drew, I want you to be thinking about what kind of typography edits you might want to make. I'm going to ask it to, I want to add my logo to the website. So again, I can be very generic or very vague. All right. And so you can see that it's given me a new folder to download here, and uh, a new file to download, and it's told me I need to put my logo.png. Again, really important that we name these files what it tells us to, and then it's gonna give us that. Um, and so what I'm gonna do with my just to show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm going to take the old index.html and we're just going to move it to the trash. And I'm going to go ahead and move my logo into the images folder. Make sure it's in there. And then I'm going to go back to my downloads, and I've got the index. Again, I've been downloading this a lot on mine, so it keeps adding the three. So we just want it to be index.html. All right, so you can see here, if I open it like that, it's added my logo to the mix. Again, you probably want to have a better logo, but this was one that AI made for free for me. And so if I want to make any adjustments, all I have to go is create new deployment, and I'm going to take that whole grouping of files. Nope, that's um, uh, so we want to remove all, and then uh, very we want to move this entire folder over here. And so the getting this structure is really important. If you run into any trouble, you can always ask the AI how to do that. So again, we're going to hit deploy. Is going to push everything out, and it shows us what version we're on. So we now go to Eric Wilson for Congress. It might take a minute to refresh, right? Because Cloudflare has servers all over the world. There we go. And so now my logo appears. Now, we can do this edit with anything. We can change our bio. We could change our issues. We could add pages. And that process is the same. And the other thing that's going to uh, um, work for us um, is looking at the metrics. So we can see things like visitors, um, uh, how many requests we got, things like that. It's not as easy to decode, but I just want to show you that you can go to this website and you see it live. Eric Wilson for Congress.com. Again, there were no tricks here. I just did it all with you. So with that, the other thing to let you know is that when someone signs up, I'm able to see the submissions here. So maybe I want to do a test. I'll just say, and then takes us back. And then I'll be able to see in here that someone has signed up. I could export this and then take it to my email marketing platform. I'm also going to get an email notification that that it that someone signed up, so I know that visitors are going there. So, what questions can I answer for folks? And so if you want to leave a question in the chat, you can, or if you want to come on screen, I'm happy to invite you as well. But you can really from here go make it as complicated as you want. You can add, if you wanted to add a blog section, or if you want to do a version in another language. It probably even translate it for you. So Drew asks SEO or AI search optimization. And so one of the things that we can just take a look at, if you're not familiar, uh, what is the uh, I'm trying to think of the um, why am I having I'm blanking right now on um, the tool I use. Oh, it's called meta tags. We go to metatags.io, and so we're going to take a look at what does it currently support, and so we can see that it's not necessarily pulling in any images. So I can go back here and say I want to edit the meta information to improve search engine appearance. All right, so we can just talk to it like that. It's going to look at the website and maybe it's going to ask us a couple of questions. All right. Uh, yes, please apply that. It gave us some suggestions. Um, um, and set the image that appears when shared on social. While that's working, a question from Jesse about, is there an option to add an AI bot or a virtual assistant? So I didn't envision adding one in this, but if you have um, maybe you've got a tool from somewhere else, you could come here and say, hey, I'd like to integrate my tool from such and such place. Here's the instructions. Can you make that happen? Um, So now it wants us to create a share image, right? So it's coaching us through the process. It wants us a 1200 by 630 pixels. And again, to call it share.jpg, we're going to put it in that same folder where all of our images are, and we're going to do a redeploy. And so what's going to happen is it's now got the updated um, um, it's got the updated meta information hidden somewhere, and but it did not change our website. So I would want to go in and put in a share image. So this would involve me resizing my image to a 1200 by 630 pixels. All right. Other questions about this site building process? Cool. Well, no, we don't need to linger any longer than we have to. If you have had a chance to, build a site with this, I'd love to see it. Just send me an email, and I'm happy to answer questions about this. The other thing that would be helpful for me, you have my email from when you signed up. Would love to know if this format was helpful. Would you like to see more of that? Um, and we can do more of this. I thought it was kind of a cool thing that I learned, and the fact that it's really free um, is great. Sadie, thank you so much. Thanks for being on today. I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording.